Doctor, coming back to the research bit, I mean, what kind of research in various medical institutions are happening these days to unravel and understand asthma much better?
So I think we have research at different levels. One is the epidemiological research. So epidemiological research will tell you what is the prevalence in different areas and try and come up with an explanation, as I said, about clean environments. Why should they have a high prevalence of asthma? We can think about an environment like ours. So one is this level of the epidemiological research, which tells us about the disease patterns, the pockets, and where, why, and help us to correlate. One is the clinical research, and clinical research is today we understand that all patients of asthma are not one. We understand within these asthma patients there are these pleomorphism. One group of asthmatics behaving in a different pattern versus the others. You have 5% of these asthmatics now we understand have brittle asthma. They'll be well for most of the years. They'll get unwell and they'll get admitted to hospital in the ICU on the ventilator. So, and their disease runs. So this is another subgroup. So right. At a clinical level, the research tells us how do we classify, whom do we best give what medications. So that is, and the third level is the molecular level. Helps us to understand the changes in the airways which are going on and what is inducing those changes, and how can we ultimately reverse the modeling or the airway remodeling that is happening. And the fourth is the level of genetics. Right. And some of these countries like Finland, the smaller geographies, are taking the leads on those fronts. So these are the, I think, 4 fronts where.
Doctor, coming back to the treatment of the disease, what kind of treatment is available, and is it 100% curable?
It is treatable. So I'll tell you what my teacher told me about asthma. If you're, you'll only get admitted for asthma if you're fat, mad, bad, or sad. Today, otherwise, there's no reason why asthma will put you in a hospital. Right. And that's very true, unless you have a brittle disease.
So what kind of treatment do we administer?
So the treatment of choice are the inhaled medications. It is not oral, it is not cough syrups. Unfortunately, every single day I see patients who have been treated with antibiotics and cough syrups by the general physicians for asthma for years before they end up coming to us and having a more severe disease pattern. I think, and that's also true with what patients like. They like cough syrups, they're okay to use, and they're still afraid of the inhaled medications. And they think about inhalers as something really the last resort, or something very strong, or right. Something they'll get addicted to. So basically 2 categories: bronchodilator, which will help bronchodilate the airway, will help you to give relief. They are short acting, and the inhaled sort of anti-inflammatory or the corticosteroid drugs, which help to break the cycle. So in other words, the relievers and the preventers. Right. And it is the preventers which are the cornerstone of management, and that's the challenge, because you have to take the preventers when you're well as well. So as to be able to, and what on the other hand patients tend to do is to take a lot of relievers. Take an aspirin puff or a short acting reliever and keep on taking it. Right. The dose increases, the effect decreases over time. So that's,
and it's more short term, and preventers are much more long term in nature.
And we know that the weather changes 4 times a year in this part of the country, and therefore what I'd always tell, be prepared. Don't wait for yourself to get sick. So start on your preventers. The very fact, Holi, Diwali, rainy season, these are 3 main sort of peaks that you have. Right. So just don't wait, and use the preventers in a way that you are disease free for a longer duration.
Doctor, for these treatments, be it the preventers or the other type, are there any long-term effects of this treatment to asthma?
Yeah. So in terms of, I think there are 2 concerns. There are systemic side effects of the inhaled medications that we use. There are very little. Again, remember, think about a drug which is given in micrograms. Right. The inhalers have drugs which are given in micrograms through a device which delivers it directly to the lungs. Right. So the systemic, and that's just done to decrease the systemic absorption. We don't need these drugs in our head or our legs and our stomach, because we need them in the lungs. So, and inhalers are a very, very good way of delivering those drugs to these sites. Right. And they're given in very, very small quantity. And the systemic absorption is very little, and they've been generally seen to be very, very safe. And especially concern is in small kids, because there's a lot of asthma in the small kids. Whether that will hamper their growth, it will cause them other problems. Most of them, if given under medical supervision, are all fine.
Right. Doctor, there has been a significant rise in the respiratory disorders, and with lifestyle and the fast-paced, also the emotional part of it. What would be your advice to our viewers? How they should take care of themselves?
Yes, it's the lifestyle and the environment both combined. I think it's a very, very toxic. We're going to see an exponential rise, and we are already seeing in the respiratory problems, and on top of it, the emotional stress. It's become the way of life, unfortunately. So my suggestion is one, stick to yoga. I think Indian way of life and Indian philosophy already had found an answer to it.
Correct.
If you think about yoga, it is all about breathing and synchronizing your breathing, giving away your emotional stress, getting your lungs better. All the postures of yoga were actually looking at. So traditional Indian medicine or the wisdom had actually already found an answer to the problem that we are facing.
Right. Other than that, would you like to put some advice on, are they linked to obesity or something? Is it?
Most diseases are. Obesity is a big problem. It causes respiratory problems, decreases. It causes restriction. It causes increased work of the respiratory pump, and therefore you cannot just, the lungs are not directly involved, but they cannot take the air in, and therefore, and there is a problem of obesity, hypoventilation. These are patients who will just hypoventilate, take small frequent breaths. So there is a problem of lifestyle, there is a problem of environment. Big things need to be done on the environment, but small things can be done by us. We still see people burning their waste, people using multiple vehicles. So small things on our individual fronts, legislative issues and administrative issues. I think all these things need to be done.
Doctor, thank you for your time. We really appreciate all the inputs you gave to our viewers. We would like to connect back with you again, trying to know about the research and what developments are taking place in the field.